Welcome back, everyone, to the second preliminary match of tonight leading up to the actual, fight night matches. But here we are on Coda in the top left-hand corner, representing Red Bloods, is the appropriately red Protoss player, PiLiPiLi.
And down the bottom right-hand corner, known for his crazy builds. What will he have as in store for us this game? It's our blue Terran player from Team Ascension, RuFF.
I like that trill. It sounded correct.
Thank you. But, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. I have seen a couple times RuFF play a standard game, so it's not like he's not capable of it or anything. It's something he does pretty well at, but he definitely does enjoy kind of taking the game to a crazy state, just building mass Reaper or planetary fortress rushing or stuff like that. I think everyone who watched it remembers, but maybe regrets, his game versus Balloon, the Korean random player on My Insanity, when they were both Terran on Catalina and both just went mass Reapers, and neither of them stopped building Reapers until one of them took a planetary fortress or a natural or something like that. So they could actually defend against the Reapers and start transitioning into Marines. It was a pretty crazy game, and that's the sort of element RuFF thrives in, I feel.
No, yeah, I completely agree with you. RuFF really thrives in his randomness and stuff like that. But I was talking to PiLiPiLi beforehand. He feels very confident in saying that unless he completely does not scout RuFF in some situation, he's pretty sure he's going to take this solidly 3-0. So he's feeling confident. But it's going to be up to, so it's really going to be up to RuFF. Is what is he going to do? How is he going to do this crazy? And what's he going to do to really throw PiLiPiLi off guard? But PiLiPiLi's side of the map in the top left, he is doing what's just a normal game expand, I'm guessing, only on one gas, so not putting any too much aggression in this early game.
Yeah, he's playing out a bit more standard, and I feel like PiLiPiLi, if there's anything that's crazy going to come from this game, it's going to be from RuFF, not just because he's RuFF, but also because PiLiPiLi, I feel like, is the stronger player. He is a WCS Challenger qualifying player in Season 2 last season. He's obviously looking to do it again this season with the qualifiers currently ongoing. But if he is going to drop games, it's going to be because RuFF does something a bit off kilter and he doesn't see it. There's no point, I don't feel like, in PiLiPiLi doing something a bit, making a percentage play, doing cheese or something that could work or could not work. Because if he plays at standard, he's not really got that much to lose, I feel like.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. PiLiPiLi does not have much to lose at all, and he's getting, as we were mentioning, all his scouting around everything, spots the factory, spots the racks. Will actually scout a gas, but not the second gas here after to be taken out by this Reaper. So maybe something fishy coming along with RuFF. He could do some sort of Banshee play, but still a little bit a little bit dark here for us.
Yeah, he is still a little bit playing without too much information. Just the probe scout to go off. But that probe scout has, importantly, actually seen that factory. And, of course, the reactor right next to it. So he's got a decent bit of information. And RuFF, for his part, the Reaper is going to come in, play its role as the first scout. And you can see what it can do to these probes. Just get driven away. And it looks like it's not going to actually get any kills. But that's not a surprise at all. This natural nexus finishing up now as well. All looking pretty normal out of PiLiPiLi, and we'll see whether he goes for the blink that's been so popular, blink openers. Very, very versatile, very, yeah, there's lots of ways you can transition into it, and it's pretty safe as well. So I quite like it as an opener, but of course, Rovos are always popular as well. Oh, Reaper comes in again.
Did PiLiPiLi's first pylon, was it late or something? Because he's got 4 probes, 5 probes queued on each nexus. It's kind of weird.
Huh. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's banking up for something and he just doesn't want us to think he's got bad macro, so he's just queuing up all his probes. But he's got like 3 queued up in his main as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually does have a lot of chrono boosts saved up as well, so I don't know whether he's unbanned chrono boost and not noticed or something, but it's a bit weird.
Well, I thought that maybe he missed like one of his first pylons or something. It was slightly off time, but even this is pretty crazy. But looks like throw that Forge in his main, and then he's got well, actually pylon the top fight. I think. I mean, he's gonna be camping up his main. He's gonna get a good defense, and then he's gonna go for something sneaky. I'm guessing be a Stargate. Interesting. So, 2 Stargates, 3 Stargates are actually gonna go down, and this is really interesting because you know how we were just saying, like, RuFF is going to be the one to do something weird, and PiLiPiLi's going to play standard. Actually, PiLiPiLi's like, screw it, man. You think I'm going to play standard? I'm going to punch you in the face.
That's true. I guess PiLiPiLi is, in his own right, a bit of an off-kilter player as well, but big Widow Mines coming out of RuFF. Double factory this early, researching the drilling claws as well. A 3rd factory? Does RuFF think this is mono battles right now? There's so many Widow Mines there. Or maybe he's just actually going to play Mech. Mech versus Protoss, pretty unusual, of course, as well. And he does have that fast armory, too. So that's always an option. We'll see what PiLiPiLi is actually... He's going to be a Fleet Beacon, so...
Fleet Beacon.
Oracle starts things off, and then I think we're going to go into Tempests. And this is going to match up so well against the Widow Mines. If it was an Oracle... Like, they get taken out by Widow Mine pretty nicely. Phoenixes, you want to move them around, much like Nucleus in a group all clumped up. But the Tempest, they can stay from miles away and just snipe away at those Widow Mines as much as they like. And I think, yeah, it is exactly where PiLiPiLi wants to be against the Mech Army. Tempests are a great answer to it, and he's going straight for them.
I love the double photon overcharge. I don't need to deal with it. And also, like you were saying, the can hit from miles off. There's a large airspace just above RuFF's main nexus. Or sorry, main CC. So I mean, you can just work there for a while. But it's gonna mention, yeah, PiLiPiLi's holding back his Oracle. He's still trying to play it safe and hoping that that RuFF won't expect any of this. And RuFF actually is going up the scout there because you know what? I don't see this is going really strangely, and he's trying to go to scout that, and hopefully he'll get it. But 3 Tempests are already being queued up, and for RuFF, he's going main back. He's got 2 tanks coming out. And he's got more Widow Mine, but the Widow Mine aggression that RuFF really wanted to get done to be able to stop PiLiPiLi from doing anything, even if PiLiPiLi was playing normally, it never happened.
Yeah, the Oracle going into the main base now, it doesn't have too much energy because it did use some of it to snipe off the SCV that was going in, scout this kind of corner bit of Stargates and tech. So yeah, RuFF, I feel like he thinks, okay, so there's a proxy Stargate or something. Oh, Widow Mine in the main base actually gets 4 kills, and another one got some more, but did get cleaned up. So RuFF is making things happen here. The scan, he wants to know what's up there. That's great for him. He will now get a bit more information. Triple Viking on the way as well, and that's going to be a lot of help in dealing with these centers.
Yeah, 10 workers or probes were killed right there, and 3 Tempests apparently one-shot Widow Mines, and the one not able to do quite enough against that. Now the Oracle, which was able to reveal these buildings, so that Oracle will also be able to reveal the Widow Mine when it needs to. But for now, RuFF realizes this, sending out Hellions. He's got a medevac with the Widow Mine going next to PiLiPiLi's Stargates, but the damage is already started from PiLiPiLi. 5 workers killed, and back in PiLiPiLi's base, he does not get another overcharge, but he has a decent amount of cannons. I'd love to see a cannon at PiLiPiLi's front face. Natural.
Yeah, he needs a little bit of help. Oh man, the Widow Mine actually goes off on the Oracle, so no more detection. And PiLiPiLi having to kite back. He can't let those Widow Mines go off. They do take out all the shields from Tempest, and now he's out of range and he can start actually thinking about fighting the Vikings, but he doesn't really want to. The X damage from the armored that they deal is just a bit too much. And now 2 Sea Snakes floating down these pylons, trying to make sure he's shutting down PiLiPiLi's stack up here. And this is a big loss. One of the worst things about Proxy Stargate really is that they're expensive, especially when it's going to be more of a composition thing, as it will be against the mech army of RuFF. This is going to be really painful when it gets taken out, and it almost certainly will. But for now, these Hellions doing what they can against a few probes coming up here. And RuFF moves out to take his 3rd base as well, and he's just going to try and position Widow Mines in as many places as possible. But this Tempest force is growing and growing for PiLiPiLi, and it's going to be ending up pretty scary.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about RuFF going mech is that you have less units to spread out across the map. If you were going something like Bio, you can hit the main, you can hit the natural of PiLiPiLi and go for the Tempest all at the same time, but because he's going mech, there's so few units doing with Widow Mines, it's hard to defend. But for now, these Vikings focusing down with their targets, but actually, all the Tempests are on top of the Vikings, on top of the Widow Mines, take a lot of damage. And, oh, barely. Oh, the Tempest does go down. The front Stalker is going to reinforce. Funny, like, one Stalker reinforce. Like I was saying, PiLiPiLi, with his opponent going Mecha, it's a lot easier for him to go Tempest, and he's even got a cannon next to this Photon, or next to the Pylon in this area around it, so he should be able to snipe any Widow Mines if he needs to.
Yeah, it does provide that extra detection. Photon Cannon, one of 2 Protoss buildings with like really high vision range, like 9 or 10 or something. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of lag. Is that just me?
I think that's just you, because I have no lag. Oh, no, I'm getting it. Is that me? Oh.
I know.
Oh, it's you. It's you.
It's me.
It's you.
Oh, StarCraft has just crashed, straight up crashed. So I guess I'm going to be casting this one from the stream or from what's going on, but that's a shame because this was shaping up to be a really interesting game here. Looks like I've got a little error on my StarCraft there. So yeah, take it away, Derek.
All right. Well, as I was mentioning, or at least just to play StarCraft crash, I'm sure everyone saw, but like I was mentioning, it's a lot better to go against mech. It's a lot better of a situation for the Tempest to PiLiPiLi purely because it's easier to defend because the mech is not as mobile, cannot get to your main, cannot get to your natural quite as quickly as a Bioforce, something dropping may be able to. But we are seeing the Tempest moving into the third base. There is a bunker with 4 Marines in it that will be able to defend, but not going to quite be in the proper position. I don't know. Do I need to boot you here? Or oh, there you are. Okay. Only 4 Tempests now, 3 more Tempests on the way, but Widow Mines from RuFF are moving up, and a Hellbat, a little bit of a Helldraft drop is going towards PiLiPiLi. PiLiPiLi's Stargate, but PiLiPiLi does have a very nice Photon Cannon placement to try to keep him out, and now the Tempests are out at the Stargate, and the Hellbats are going for that pylon mill, but at the third base, there is 4 Tempests wreaking havoc onto this command center, trying to get rid of it. 2 Stalkers also with them, but not going to be doing damage. For now, RuFF does have a nice fleet of 6 Vikings, and actually a Thor even, but he's still a little bit worried about engaging. He does scan though, was not sure how many Tempests were there because they have such long range, and they were actually outside of his vision. Now the Vikings are moving in, 6 Vikings, and a Thor, and a couple Widow Mines, but the Mothership Core will actually teleport out. And finally though, at PiLiPiLi's little Stargate proxy location, the pylon was taken out, and the probe barely got down 1 pylon because of the Widow Mine. So for now, that actually the production is not so great right there. The Tempests are finally there to defend, but it's been halted for a little while, and RuFF is kind of deciding whether he wants to move across the map or not. But interestingly enough, now RuFF is actually getting +1 attack and throwing on 4 racks. As I was saying, there's such a mobile, versatile army composition Bio is that I think it's a lot better versus this, even though the Widow Mines would have been great versus maybe a Chargelet Archon style or just a greedy Protoss, but that is not really what PiLiPiLi was doing. He's even queuing up a lot of pylons in that situation. But now Twilight Council going down for PiLiPiLi. I love that both of these players are actually transitioning out of what they were doing before. They're not trying to make it work. They understand they need to transition out of it, but the most drastic thing is purely just for RuFF because he's going to be able to start his actually 5 barracks production and 3 starports. So, I mean, he's going to be all good on the medevacs, but at the same time, it's going to be an interesting composition. I wonder if he's going to kind of go the mech bio, which it sometimes doesn't work, but again, as I mentioned in previous games, Artosis-wise, it's like if you make a little bit of everything, how do you counter? Now for RuFF, he is playing pretty passively. He's got 2 Widow Mines on the other side of the map, but for now, I mean, he's just kind of holding in his main base, and he's got a lot of Widow Mines with his main force, but has not actually burrowed them down yet. He's waiting until those Tempests, because they are so slow, the Widow Mines can catch up to them and get under them. But Tempests finally are still in production for PiLiPiLi. He's not stopped at by any means, and actually moving into carriers and getting Storm. I really like this from PiLiPiLi. It's going to be an interesting composition once they actually engage. But still, PiLiPiLi has not scouted RuFF at all, and neither has RuFF scouted PiLiPiLi. So both players are playing a little bit blind and playing at what they assume is going to go down. But finally, we do see a 4th base for PiLiPiLi. Even though he can't make a base in the top right-hand corner where those Stargates are, it would almost be the most defendable position, only because all his production is there right now. Like, he's not even adding on any more gates. He's on those 4 gates that he had, but that's mainly going to be for Zealots and I'm guessing some High Templars, but it's going to be a very expensive army. I'm wondering, though, when PiLiPiLi is going to move out, because he is getting carries to mix into this composition, and that's in... Combined with the Tempest, they're going to be able to siege up specific positions very easily and get a lot of damage done. But interestingly enough, for RuFF, he's actually getting what I believe, he's actually getting Raven upgrades, which for a second
My bad. Thought it was Battlecruiser, but no, Raven upgrade's also very good. And now RuFF is deciding to move out across the map. At the same time, PiLiPiLi is, but PiLiPiLi is not necessarily moving out. He's simply defending his 4th base, but still both players are playing very passively, and I think this is really because neither player knows what the other player's doing. RuFF did spot that 4th base with his 2 Widow Mines that were taken out, I think, by a Photon Cannon or by the rest of the Stargate army. But they're both pretty much on a hiatus from the war and keeping back. And RuFF finally is going into much more bio-heavy composition, but he truly is playing a mech bio, which I really like, just mixing in a lot of Marines, which makes perfect sense. The Marauder's just a little bit too gas-heavy, I feel like, for him, but he does start to have an 800 gas bank that is RuFF, so he's going to be able to do something else with it now. But he will be moving out onto the middle of the map. PiLiPiLi did have a probe on the proxy, but actually moves it out at the last second and will not spot this army moving across the map. PiLiPiLi is in the right position to defend it, but I don't know if that's actually where he wants to be. A scan goes down on PiLiPiLi's army. PiLiPiLi is at 3-3 air. Actually, no, yeah, I believe, no, actually only 3-0 air. Into RuFF's only +1. The Tempests are doing a lot of damage. A nice storm on the middle of the army of RuFF right here. There's a couple Marines, but the Marines just die so easily to the mass amount of storms. Widow Mines are there, but PiLiPiLi is taking this so decisively. Literally almost everything dies of RuFF's side except for literally everything dies except for these 3 Widow Mines, since there is no vision. And PiLiPiLi's actually pulling back now. Interestingly enough, all this fight was going down on his 4th, but he still has these 7 Tempests, and actually I don't think he lost 1. And even though I really liked the mech bio composition, because he did that and didn't split at all, RuFF just lost the entire bio army because he was at +1 attack. I feel like he maybe should have gone for +1 armor, but again, I said neither of these players have really scouted each other. Finally, we do see, though, RuFF moving to the top right-hand corner. He knows he needs to get rid of this Stargate production. There's still 2 carriers going on and on, upgrading. And it is 3-0 upgrades to only 1-0 of RuFF. And RuFF's mech is at, let me see. RuFF's mech is at +1 attack, but it's still not that great. I mean, PiLiPiLi's taking such a fantastic leap with Chrono Boost, is letting him get in a good position, and barely by itself, interestingly enough, the carrier PiLiPiLi will actually defend all his Stargate production, and now there is a Warp Prism moving out for PiLiPiLi to go for the 3rd base. There's a Planetary Fortress there, so not a ton of damage is done, but it's going to be a Storm Drop and a decent amount of damage. Let's go in. 5 workers are killed, and both High Templars get up into that Warp Prism and will retreat. Now, there's even more carriers being added on, and PiLiPiLi's army supply right now, it is 114 to the 57 of RuFF. RuFF is now kind of transitioning into a couple Ravens with majority bio. He lost pretty much the majority of his mech in that one battle against PiLiPiLi, but he honestly got 0 damage done, and this is a very scary situation for RuFF right here. PiLiPiLi is not only up army supply, but is also up 25 workers, or 22 if you really want to get specific there. And RuFF's trying to add on these ghosts, but I don't really think that's going to be enough because PiLiPiLi is just going to be able to kite back. There's going to be so many interceptors in the air with these carriers, and right now PiLiPiLi, though, will take the middle ground in the middle of the map. I think it's a very good decision. He does not want to let the Terran player RuFF take any map control at all because, as I was saying, PiLiPiLi's army is a lot slower than RuFF's, and he's even taken aggressive base as his 5th base here, close to PiLiPiLi's 3rd base, but not actually going to take out those rocks yet. So it's actually almost a perfect base. I'd like him maybe to take the top right one, only because it's a little bit more offensive, but there's a little bit of a stalker attack going on at the natural of RuFF. We'll have to pull back. I'd almost like him to take the top right base instead of the bottom left base for his 5th base, PiLiPiLi, just because you can kind of attack and defend. You can retreat into it, but on the same kind of pretense, you can retreat into this. Now PiLiPiLi's just scattering as many High Templars as he can around the map. He's got Photon Cannons ready to defend that 4th base, and RuFF is still on 3 with a 5th base on the way and is now producing a lot of Thors. But I really love this scatter of Pylons and of High Templars with PiLiPiLi. But another Storm Drop will go down into the 3rd base, but there's actually all the SCVs get out just in time, and the High Templars are forced to storm themselves a little. They will get out again and again. High Templars do gain energy in Warp Prisms, I believe. Yes, they do. And so that's pretty cool right there. Another Stargate is finally being added on. Actually, 3 more in the main of PiLiPiLi. So now he's going to go up to 6 Stargate production and is now on 3-1 with +2 ground and charge. So the Zealots, just all the minerals PiLiPiLi can dump into that, and is even making 10 to 15 cannons at the 4th base. of RuFF. A big battle going down. A couple EMPs tried to go off, but there's just so many interceptors all on top of this Bio Army. The Bio Army is only focusing down the interceptors. Literally, there's nothing detesting PiLiPiLi, but now a huge amount of mines do go in and hit, secret missiles do go in and hit PiLiPiLi's forces, but it's not enough. Not a single carrier goes down. Zealot's moving in. There's one Thor desperately trying to get one kill, and GG. PiLiPiLi takes game 1 incredibly decisively.
Too surprising result, considering the two players and of course what we saw or what I saw at the start of the match. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about the game because I couldn't really see it, or it hasn't ended it for me. But yeah,
the biggest thing right there is I feel like both players instantly, once they saw, or once they kind of got past the very early stage of the game, completely transitioned. Neither one of them stayed only on what they were doing. So RuFF, like I was saying, I like that he started mixing in Marines, but he got +2 attack for those Marines. Now that's great. You can focus down the big air units, but he did not scout it all to Storm. So when Storm hit, when RuFF moved into PiLiPiLi's third base, literally just they dissolved to that. There was no defense at all for RuFF right there. Sorry, no, just aggression. And then PiLiPiLi crushed that and pretty much just waited a little while, made like 10 to 15 cannons at RuFF's fourth base, which he had not taken yet, and then just destroyed RuFF's army when he walked up into it. But as PiLiPiLi said, in his own opinion, RuFF would be lucky to take one game off of him, and that is game 1 going to PiLiPiLi on Coda. Now, you have any thoughts on just the beginning of that game? Like, that was a crazy opening because PiLiPiLi plays very standard. I feel like that was like straight up mind game. So now RuFF is going to be like, oh, maybe PiLiPiLi doesn't play standard.
I feel like, I don't know, I wouldn't say PiLiPiLi's like a standard player, but if he was playing standard, it should work out pretty well for him in these games. Like, PiLiPiLi does have his own weird stuff he does, and he definitely brought it in that game. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it might be a little overconfident to say RuFF will be lucky to take one game off him, because RuFF's a pretty solid player as well. He definitely had some kooky sort of builds which he can throw around as and when he needs to. But we'll see. It's going to be on Terraform, map number 2. Another one of the more, well, one of the more standard maps of the new maps introduced to the ladder pool. But yeah, it's always cool when somebody actually builds carriers. I'm just watching,
definitely.
I guess the final engagement now on stream, and man, carriers.
Oh yeah, they just slaughtered. But yeah, that was a really cool game 1. I'm excited to see, maybe not in a standard game, but I'm excited to see a. Actually, I take all that back what I just said about excited. I love that past game, but I'm really curious to see how RuFF is going to play against a maybe more standard PiLiPiLi, especially on Terraform. Now, you can proxy stuff, really cool stuff on this map as Terran, but I've seen nothing Protoss-wise. Any thoughts on that, at least Protoss-wise on Terraform? You can't like force fast expand, even though you wouldn't. Like, there's just no wall.
It's a little harder to... There aren't any like obvious great proxy spots. Normally, if you're going to proxy something, it's going to be a Stargate, generally, as Protoss. And there's no positions that are really fantastic for that. The one that's closest to the main is kind of very much in the path that a Reaper might scout. All the other ones, the ones that might be close to the natural, I mean, sure, but they're not great proxy locations anyway. But yeah, we could see. Proxy 1 gates, always pretty good. You can hide them over by the kind of... I guess usually 4th base, maybe a 3rd base. The one that once you mine it out opens up an extra attack path. But either way, it doesn't look too much like we're going to be seeing anything particularly crazy proxy style coming out of our Protoss player, who is of course spawning up in the top left-hand corner in the red, representing Red Bloods. It's PiLiPiLi.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner of Terraform. Currently down a game with that crazy Widowmine style. Maybe some mono battles actually happen. That would have been great. Tempest versus Widowmine mono battles. But it is the blue Terran player representing Ascension. It is RuFF. That'd be really funny. Like, they just kind of silently decide, we're going to do a mono battle. Tempest versus Widowmine. And, like, none of the casters know, like, what is going on.
I feel like the Tempest win that one. Because Widowmine's...
Oh, no, I completely agree. Just at first it was like, are you serious? Are you serious, RuFF?
Yeah. Yeah. he already broke the rules by making a Reaper anyway, so I guess we have to disqualify him. But
Yeah, definitely. He's already disqualified.
Poor
Yeah, we don't actually
Poor
appreciate
Ruff.
him that much. But
we'll just play.
PiLiPiLi opening up completely different this time.
Yeah.
But going up for double gas, and it's just a much more aggressive build. He has the possibility for. He's even setting out an early probe now. This may not be a proxy by any means. It could be, though. It actually, I'm going to say it is going to be a proxy because he's going on the bottom left. But it also just could be PiLiPiLi being careful. As we mentioned, RuFF is known for just crazy random plays that you've never expected. But it is going to be a hidden, not a proxy, though. Interesting decision on location. I feel like there's a lot better locations you could put it in, but maybe not. PiLiPiLi's the master here.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely is a pretty strong player, and he's actually going to be building a proxy down by his third base, behind the mineral line. So this isn't a Stargate-style proxy. This is going to be for a Twilight Council and possibly Dark Shrine here. So this is pretty cool stuff. What's the gas looking like? 3 in each. Pretty heavy into that gas. I don't know. Could be either at this point. I don't see when he actually put the third one in, but RuFF. Double barracks or triple barracks, quadruple barracks. Whoa. Whoa.
He's going quadruple racks, no gas at all.
Whoa,
so this is just straight up Marine. He's even muling. He's like, I mean, this is literally just straight up Marine. It's going to be a Stargate or PiLiPiLi.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I find a cool nuance of the Oracle is in small Marine numbers, a couple Oracles can kind of act like Colossi. They can kind of act like splash damage because they just output so much damage at a time. A Marine has 45 health, so an Oracle in two-ish seconds will kill it. And so that could be a possibility, but on the other hand, the Stargate is not in the main base, could easily be sniped, and Oracles also can easily be sniped. So this is going to be an intense micro battle, I feel like.
Yeah, Oracles definitely do enough DPS to kind of, if you can just stop them being killed somehow, they have short enough range that they make themselves focus fired. But Oracle Zealot actually does surprisingly well early on. You do some
cool
with that. But
especially in Legacy
sure
of the Void with the new I can't remember what it's called, but with their mine ability.
Oh,
whatever it is
mine.
called, Legacy of the Void. Stasis Mine, thank you. Especially, you could do that work really well. But for now, RuFF is moving across the map with, how many Marines does he have? 13 Marines versus a Stalker and Oracle, and that Oracle is going to the bottom side of the map, has no idea this is coming. There's not even a sentry. The PiLiPiLi will spot it with this suicide probe.
Yeah, but he's going to be in a bit of trouble here, and the Oracle actually, comes straight back home. He needs that at home to help defend. Twilight Council is going to finish up here. And oh my god, Warp Gate's not even done. I feel like this might have been a straight up build loss here. RuFF kills the only real army unit here. The Oracle comes back home. Can't really do too much on these Marines. Focus it down. I think it's 1 or 2 of them. But these probes are going to fall in their droves here to the Marines.
And there's still Marines rushing across the map. 12 probes down. The Mothership Core is finally here, but the Twilight Council, the cost of the Twilight Council delayed the Mothership Core so long it's not going to have a photon overcharge. Nothing. And the bunker is canceled, but that's worth it. 16 probes killed, and RuFF is still going for this. So that was like, even though that was completely headed off, RuFF could actually like walk home and be fine. This would just be a fantastic opener. Oh, and even May get the Stalker. No, GG. RuFF takes game 2 in 7 minutes.
Yep, ties up 1-1. And yeah, I mean, you know, you've said quite a few times in this game that PiLiPiLi feels like the only times RuFF takes a game is if he catches PiLiPiLi off guard, or if PiLiPiLi doesn't scout what's coming, and that's basically exactly what happened. PiLiPiLi had no idea that all those racks were coming, all those Marines were being pumped out until they turned up on his doorstep, shooting down his units, and that's kind of how that goes when you don't scout a big cheese like that. Basically,
yep, definitely. And by the way, thank you so much, OFCKU, for giving the sub to Yep, the sub hype. I was debating like, oh, should I say it? Should I not? And I was like, I'll go through it. But thank you so much for subbing, and that really means a lot to Team Gravity. I know that it allows Team Gravity to put on awesome things like the Fight Night, and if you guys sub, I believe you get $5 to 2ga.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes. Subscribing actually gives you a $5 voucher to spend on g2a.com. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, if you're gonna buy something, if you're gonna buy a game on G2A, you might as well just sub, and then you get it back. Of course, I don't get that.
Literally.
I get a €3.99 voucher for G2A.com. So I don't know.
I don't know. It
I think
could be
that's
still worth
about the same at the minute, but yeah.
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah,
it's
but
just
you
kinda
still.
interesting.
Yeah, still, if you sub, you literally get your money back, at least if it's in USD, which is really cool to buy some cool games. Thank you guys so much for subbing to Team Gravity. Please follow, make a Hitbox account if you can. If you're watching on Team Liquid, come over to Hitbox, give us those views, and it really means a lot to Team Gravity because, I mean, it's number one, it's if you actually have people watching, it means a lot more. They can get their name out, and you can realize just a really cool tournaments they put on. Now, this is currently a team fight night, and there's 4 of them before a kind of pinnacle fight night. And tell us a little bit more about that, Trig.
Tournament of Champions, I believe it's called. But 4 fight nights for a bigger tournament, and it's gonna be the winner of each fight night gets invited to the tournament, maybe plus a couple other people. Much kind of bigger deal. There's been one already
really
so
cool.
far. I think we're going to be working our way up to the second one now, and yeah, it's going to be an awesome tournament. So I don't know exactly when the next one is, but whenever it is, make sure you will know if you follow Team Gravity at Team Grav on Twitter, or head over to Hitbox and click that follow button. But right now, we're loading into Cactus Valley for Game 2 of RuFF versus PiLiPiLi, and it's gonna be another cool match.
Yeah, 1-1 so far. So it's nothing. No tournament life is on the line. But by the way, guys, just other social media is just below us if you scroll down the page. So please follow, please like, please subscribe. But getting into Cactus Valley, in the bottom right-hand corner. From Red Bloods, it is the red Protoss player, PiLiPiLi.
And his opponent, up in the top left, managed to even up the score to 1-1 last game with a 4-axe. Good old familiar cheese. It is from Team Ascension, the Blue Terran, RuFF.
It's kind of like RuFF can't even cheese without doing it differently. He's like, no, I am not going to do a 3-rax. No one does 3-raxes. I'm going to do a 4-rax.
Yeah, I mean, 4-axes fell out of style for a while, but you know what? Sometimes the occasion just calls for lots and lots of Marines. None of that fancy tech. Nothing like that. Just build a lot of units and go and punch them in the face.
It's just pure...
Yeah.
I don't know why I said puro. It's just pure. It's pure Marine brotherhood right there. And they smash whatever they need to, and they do whatever they need to. But... opening up for PiLiPiLi, I mean, neither player is doing anything proxy yet, but PiLiPiLi has shown he really enjoys that proxy Stargate. But Cactus Valley, I mean, yes, Cactus Valley has a decently sized main, but what do you think of that? Do you think it's a good idea, maybe to try to do that? I've seen some cool proxies and actually like either the top right or the bottom left base.
Yeah, the difficult thing about doing proxies on Cactus Valley is, of course, as a 4-spawn map, you have to either make a percentage play and say, well, I'm going to proxy it like down in kind of the middle bottom base if you're, or I guess if you're PiLiPiLi, the top middle base, and hope that he's not in bottom left. Or you have to scout really early and make your proxy a little bit later. But yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. But on the other hand, yeah, there are some cool locations if you know where your opponent is spawning, where you can throw down a proxy where it's very, very close to their main base, and they're very unlikely to actually go all the way around to scout it. But we'll see. PiLiPiLi is sending a probe. Looks like actually cross map first, so he's going to get straight to Ross base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this. I like where he's going with this,
okay.
And actually interesting. Maybe
he's making the percentage play.
Yeah, making the percentage play, proxying something there, and even if it doesn't work out, I mean, someone in the bottom left-hand corner is not going to scout that position. Neither is someone in the top right-hand corner. But for now, I mean, is RuFF going to be prepared is what we ask, and looks like he will, double raxing it up. I like this, though. CC first into double racks. I'd almost like to see a third racks go down after this, just because you can get up a really quick economy, especially with mules, if a orbital command comes up with just pure Marine army.
Yeah, you can do pretty well. And there's the Stargate going down. rallied down to the bottom left for now, but PiLiPiLi's going to scout around and try and confirm where his opponent is, and I imagine he's going to be very, very pleased when he finds out RuFF is actually in the top left-hand corner, because that's exactly where he wants them to be. PiLiPiLi has his Stargate in basically the perfect position there. His Mothership Core's finishing up. Getting towards a late Nexus from PiLiPiLi. We'll see whether he puts it down before or after the Oracle, but at the minute, he's actually just banking up a lot of gas. And there's another probe coming out, but gets just misrallied a bit. Yeah.
If RuFF was really clever about that, he may have, I mean, he didn't, but if he would have seen that the probe was not coming from the top left or the bottom right, he was actually coming straight. So, I don't know, RuFF may have been able to have a little inclination as a proxy, but so far, none of that, not a bunker, nothing. 3 Marines are down, so this probe has to be careful, and will actually be taken out. But, I mean, it's interesting for RuFF, even get the engineering bay. I feel like he's going to be able to defend it, but it's just kind of, it's a very dicey situation. Easily, both players could screw it up.
Yeah, these Marines actually all getting taken out here. And it looks like the natural, the missile turret's not going to finish up, and a few SCVs get taken out. So this is very, very nice for PiLiPiLi. And he can actually he can come back in every so often and kill off these Marines. They're going to have to hide in the shadow of the missile turret, really, for a little while until he builds up enough to actually fight the Oracle. And a second Oracle on the way as well from PiLiPiLi, so this is going to go really well. RuFF actually has to evacuate his natural base. Yeah, having seen there's no natural from PiLiPiLi, he knows there's something coming, and 3 gateways, or 2 more gateways on the way, I guess. He's killing his own probe to free up some supply for something.
There it is. I was wondering when he was going to kill that SCV. But for now, I mean, the bunker...
There we go.
Now get this, PiLiPiLi just canceled a missile turret, a bunker, and a rack. So that's a huge little win for him right there. Void Ray coming out, a proxy pylon also coming out, and now 2 gates are done for PiLiPiLi. So PiLiPiLi is getting up for an incredibly aggressive attack. There is finally out a couple Marines. The front ramp is defended, but that's not where any of this aggression is going to come from for the next minute and a half.
Whoa. Ghost Academy coming out from RuFF. This is really unusual. I don't see how this is what he needs right now, but you know, RuFF does some pretty crazy things on occasion.
I can see maybe it would work if he was on 2 bases, but on 1 base, and then your second gas is pretty late, and you're only on 10 SCVs. I'm a little bit worried for your economic health if you're going to try to push out ghosts, because they are 200, 100. Yeah. That's pretty hard on 1 base.
They're pretty expensive, but I don't know. I guess the logic is you want to just negate those oracles, but it seems like a pretty expensive way to do that. We'll see though. For now, this supply depot, oh man, doing it right at the natural ramp, but it works. He fakes towards the Void Ray, but the stim actually coming out means PiLiPiLi just backs off. He's lost a tiny bit of hull health, and when his shields come back, that'll be like nothing. And RuFF, that health, that damage he took with the stim is permanent. PiLiPiLi keeps on walking in, keeps on building up this army, and RuFF, he realizes the trouble he's in. Great force field, and that bunker is going to get focused down immediately. The Void Ray step forwards here. These Marines trapped up against the force fields. They're going to try to do what they can against these Void Rays, but great might from PiLiPiLi pulling them back.
And the 2 more bunkers going down, and SCVs are forced to be pulled. 1 bunker goes down, and there's still 1 bunker left, but only 2 Marines in it. Desperately, SCVs are trying to heal it, but so far, 7 SCVs have gone down. The 1 EMP literally just saved that army right there, but that 1 ghost sacrificed his life right there. And he's going to be sacrificed. 2 more Marines go into the bunker. Now there's 4 Marines, but it's terribly out of position. The units can actually walk straight back by it. Oh! 1 Void Ray does go down. Now there is the Mothership Core here if there needs to be a teleport home, but RuFF's economy is so badly hurt. 23 workers for PiLiPiLi to the 15 of RuFF.
Yeah, RuFF is looking in pretty rough shape here. Oh my god, combat shield just finishes there for RuFF, giving his Marines those extra bits of survivability that they desperately need right now. A second Void Ray comes in, gets the 3rd one, including the one PiLiPiLi's lost, but this settled orbital command, natural command, now moved up to main, is going to be going down pretty shortly. Reinforcing Stalk gets tapped, but a good time warp is going to pick off 1 or 2 SCVs. That does leave no escape plan for PiLiPiLi though. He's going to have to wait a long time to actually recall home. That might be a decision. RuFF is going to hop on right now, close to firing down both those Void Rays. And it looks like PiLiPiLi's going to lose all his units here. But RuFF, 6 workers.
Yeah, 23 workers of PiLiPiLi to the 6 of RuFF, and the natural base which he had flown up into the main was killed. So there's only going to be 1 mule at a time, and that's going to be very scary. And to boot, almost all of RuFF's units are in the red here, very low. Chargebot and Zealot, like 4 or 5 of them, would literally destroy all of this. But for now, PiLiPiLi just getting up a small force, and he's still being aggressive. While on the other side of the map, in the bottom right-hand corner, RuFF, actually, never mind. He starts a factory. Okay. He had an engineering bay and then started a factory. He thrown down an engineering bay and I was like, okay, I guess he can cancel it right as I'm about to point it out. But he's now going for that factory, which could be very cool. And one important thing that earlier on that we didn't mention is the Ghost Academy not only, yes, you can EMP, it's very expensive, but it was not a factory. So a medevac is not going to be there to support these units. Neither is there going to be any Widow Mines, which is traditionally how you defend this. You hope that the Protoss player accidentally just runs over a Widow Mine.
Yeah, or, just you stop them from moving up your ramp by forcing them to run over Widow Mines to do it. PiLiPiLi is just going to try and pick off units very, very nicely here. A lot of these means on very low health, and these Stalkers can just trade off shields for the damage. But,
force field.
Surge forwards on it. The force field is whiffed a little bit. A second force field is going to cut it off, but it looks like PiLiPiLi just managed to keep his Void Ray alive. GG. Looks like it was enough. And PiLiPiLi takes another game, putting him to, I believe, 3-1 against RuFF now.
And by the way, a Widow Mine never got out of that factory in the bottom right-hand corner. Something was pulled at the final second of that game to defend it.
Yeah, 2-1, not 3-1, sorry. Or was that what I said?
Oh, yeah,
anyway, it didn't actually get finished up. One of the probes killed off the STV as it was building it. So I don't know. I still feel like it would have been a cool idea if he could have got some Widow Mines and run them into the main, because then PiLiPiLi's only mining base would have been shut down. But on the other hand, I think RuFF overextended a little bit. He would have been okay defending up there, but he got baited down a bit too hard by PiLiPiLi. Maybe didn't realize how much was down there. Either way, that brings us to match point for PiLiPiLi now. All he needs to do is win 1 more game, and RuFF has to win 2 in a row to actually take down his opponent.
And this is actually what Aligulac predicted beforehand when I entered this in. They predicted it 3-1 PiLiPiLi. So Aligulac may be right. It has shown to be pretty right. But yeah, interestingly enough, though. And also, just to point out, I don't know if technically PiLiPiLi says represents Kazakhstan, but I've talked to Fear Dragon before about this and some other stuff. But I believe, according to Team Liquid and according to Aligulac, he's the #1 Kazakhstan. He's the
Kazakhstani.
Kazakhstani. Yeah, thank you. He's the number. Yeah, I know Asian. I know the Asian ones for that, but nothing Middle Eastern. But yes, not even Middle Eastern, really, right there. But the #1 Kazakhstani player at the moment, so he's got that behind him.
How many other Kazakhstani players are there?
None. That's the joke. He's the #1.
You're saying he's the worst player in Kazakhstan?
I actually am, yeah. If you compared him versus all the other players, he would be the worst player.
Wow, that's pretty depressing.
But
maybe
Moonlight
I should move
Madness.
to Moonlight Madness.
Wait, move to. I'm trying to think of
some. I don't know. How many StarCraft players are there in Trinidad and Tobago? I can't.
I'm not sure.
That many.
You could move to SeaWorld though, or what's it called?
SeaWorld.
You know what I'm talking
Sealand?
about? Thank you. Sealand. That's what I'm looking for. You could move to Sealand, and that would actually fit perfectly. They have 1 League of Legends and 1 StarCraft player that just live there all their lives. That's all they know.
Yeah, I could be both. I could be the #1 pro gamer for every single game for Sealand.
You could actually, and all you need to do is play 1 game of every game. Be in season 5, he achieved bronze 1, bronze 5, whatever it is.
Wow, that's a bit rude. I'm pretty sure I'm about plat.
I couldn't tell you what that is in League of Legends. Are you a defector? Because I could not tell you. I don't know the ranking system.
I've never played ranked, but a lot of my friends play, and they say I'm about plat level.
All I know is it goes from 1 to 5, I think, and then there's bronze, silver, and gold.
Cool system, actually.
Yeah, no, it is from what I've seen.
They used to have just straight up elo, but they moved over to a more. They stole it from StarCraft, but made some improvements. But anyway, right now we're not on any kind of official ranking ladder. We're playing some actual competitive games of StarCraft 2, the greatest esport there ever was. And down here in the bottom
And
left.
ever will be.
Until StarCraft 3. Down here in the bottom left, we've got Team Redblood's red, appropriately, Protoss player. It's PiLiPiLi, the statistically average Kazakhstani player. In terms of Kazakhstani players only.
Only taking into account the rest of all the other Kazakhstani players, he's a very average Kazakhstani player. You're correct. But in the top right-hand corner of Moonlight Madness, from Team Ascension Pro, it is the blue Terran player, currently down a game. His tournament, or why do I keep saying tournament? His show match life is on the line. It is RuFF. I want to say RuFF. It is RuFF. Oh yeah.
I wonder if anyone's just like recorded if anyone has ever just recorded a dog bark and used that to introduce RuFF.
That'd be fantastic.
It is Clickman.
Alrighty then, we see PiLiPiLi in the bottom left-hand corner of the lovely Moonlight. Double gas, and honestly, I don't know if this is just a kind of placement to avoid Reapers on the left-hand side of his base, but it could be very aggressive, the Gateway and the Cybernetics core.
Yeah, I think it's just his Reaper wall. PiLiPiLi tends to prefer these kind of these kind of Reaper walls that stop people getting in towards the back. I know Puck likes to build a Reaper wall like perpendicularly out from his mineral line, so that it allows Reapers in towards the edges, but doesn't allow them to get all around the Nexus. Whereas PiLiPiLi generally goes for this style, where the Reaper he can get into the mineral line and he can go around the Nexus, but then he gets trapped up against this wall and he can't go in that side. So I guess it's a bit of a stylistic difference. Personally, I kind of prefer the way PiLiPiLi does it. Because often, if you watch Puck play, like a Reaper will kind of hop in a little way towards his wall and pick some probes off. Whereas if you do that with PiLiPiLi's kind of walling style, you have to make a bit more of a commitment, generally. I don't know.
Yeah. And one probe did try to get across the map, but was sniped. And actually, is that a bunker? That is a bunker going down at the natural base of PiLiPiLi. Interesting.
Does get cancelled off though, and yeah, RuFF looks like is piling on the aggression in this game. 2 racks and a factory going to be coming out. He's getting that engineering bay just for safety against oracles, because you can't trust these tricksy approaches and their oracles. And yeah, I'm a bit interested to see whether this factory is just to get medevacs out for healing or something, or whether he's going to bring some Widow Mines into the mix, or even a couple tanks.
Yeah, a couple tanks could be a very nice accommodation into this army. You can definitely defend that rock, or at least the second way into your main, a little bit easier. But for now, yeah, RuFF is playing an interesting style. He's going a little bit marine, a little bit mech maybe, but still has not really kind of shown any inclination towards that mech except for the factory. But has not got starport yet. That could simply be because he's getting the stim and that +1. But for now, one stalker actually is going to be caught in the middle of the map. We'll have to pull back. And for PiLiPiLi, there's a decent defense. He's going to have a photon overcharge, and there's no way to get into the... I mean, he could break down the back rocks of that third base if he wanted to, but the photon overcharge should be enough to defend.
Yeah, it shouldn't have too much trouble depending with that photon overcharge. Of course, as you mentioned, those back rocks add a different aspect to it on Moonlight Madness. And although PiLiPiLi does have a pylon watching his kind of back ramp, he doesn't actually have anything keeping an eye on the rocks in towards it. But for now, Blink is on the way. PiLiPiLi just has the 1 gateway at the minute. I'd expect to see 1 or 2 being thrown down. Just a couple of extra gateways. Usually you go for 3 gates with this. Sometimes you can go for like a bunch more and go all in, but we'll see what PiLiPiLi decides to do when he decides to do it. And there's those 2 extra in the natural. And the Stalkers are going to try and find out what they can do here, as RuFF sends out his factory scout and gets those fast medevacs.
Yep. At least RuFF's Marines aren't at the very top of that ramp, otherwise both those stalkers would be taken out. Big stim forward, no starport, no medevacs quite yet. The medevacs almost stopped because of the reactor, but now it's only 1 stalker heading across the map. Blink is almost done, but there's no stalkers to really utilize it on PiLiPiLi's side of the map. 2 more gates going down. Actually, I'm sorry, 5 more gates going down. And PiLiPiLi's got a nice natural base. He's actually got all drop defense decently up with these photon cannons, and +1 attack coming along. But this is interesting. It's a very gas-heavy build, and he's got to be very careful to defend any drops. But on the other hand, a simple foot and overcharge, especially just in the main and natural, could completely negate all of this with almost 200 energy.
Yeah, I mean, with 200, a Mothership Core can Focus Overcharge one Nexus 3 times in a row. That over the course of 2 Focus Overcharges, it builds up enough for a third. So, yeah, that's going to be pretty tough. However, he's going to have to Focus Overcharge the main Nexus, and he's going to have to do it pretty quickly because RuFF is already there. There's Focus Overcharge going down. He's going to snipe off 2 pylons, depound these gateways, and take a little bit of a fight. PiLiPiLi blinks away, making best use of that blink ability, and you could even try and move down this ramp. The photon cannons are going to make that a little hard.
Yeah, the photon cannons will make it very hard. Now, trying to go into the natural base, but as you mentioned, cannot do that. He maybe would have been able to snipe something that we'll have to pick up, get out of there. And
this
now there's a
factory's getting
factory.
pummeled by both Focus Overcharges.
Oh, wait, it's just out of range now, though.
It's out of vision. It's
Wait.
out of vision.
Oh, yeah, I was like,
When
how
he
is
gets
this
vision of it again.
possible?
There we go.
There. I was like, wait, how is this possible? This makes no sense. But that is
You know,
for
they should really
effectively
fix that.
4
Mothership
Stalker.
Core needs more vision. I've always thought that Mothership Core should have at least 14 vision.
I agree. Maybe 15.
Whoa, whoa,
I mean,
whoa,
in
whoa,
some
whoa,
certain
whoa. The
situations.
boys. The boys. Turn up. The
The
boys.
boys are being pulled, Tricky boy. Tricky boy, your boys are being pulled, but they have nothing to help. So, GG. PiLiPiLi goes 3-1. Aligulek is correct. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really solid play from him throughout the series. I mean, we've been saying all series long, but the only game RuFF took off him was a cheesy kind of game that just caught PiLiPiLi off guard. But that was pretty simple. PiLiPiLi dealt with him very, very nicely overall. And yeah, right at the end, I think maybe if RuFF had pulled the boys a bit earlier and they had them for that little skirmish that was kind of the final fight of the game, maybe he would have actually been able to force PiLiPiLi back and potentially even win the game from there. But he would have been hard pressed up against it. And after losing the majority of his bio, picking up, then getting the medevac with all the bio when it's sniped, then the SCVs arrive. That's like a combination of like successively the worst things that can happen to you as a Terran player. Oh, well.
Yeah, definitely. Just it was just a little bit too late of an SCV pull, and it may have actually worked because the low amounts of stalkers. But even if it did work, there still would be the photon overcharges just having their way with whatever they wanted to do. But for now, by the way, we are moving over to the Korean server for Keen versus Boong Boong. I always think BBong, but it's Boong Boong.
Yeah. They are slightly different players, but yeah, that is going to be a match to remember. It's of course going to be a best of 7 as well. We've had our 2 warm-up best of 5s to remind us just how cool StarCraft can be, and then this one to really drive the message home. But yeah, 2 Team Prime players are going to be battling out for your viewing pleasure. And of course, also for $20 and $60 prize for the first or second and first place, I guess. And that is, of course, graciously provided by our wonderful sponsors, Hitbox.tv, on which you should be watching this, and SpawningTool.com. Both of them awesome services to do so much for esports and StarCraft in particular for Spawning Pool. Yeah, Spawning Tool. All the replays, by the way, for these Fight Night series will be uploaded onto Spawning Tool if you want to go and have a look over them, maybe steal some of PiLiPiLi's builds. I know there were a couple of people talking in chat about how they used to PiLiPiLi's Stargate All-In he used on Cactus. And yeah, it's a pretty strong build. If you want it for yourself, head over to spawningtool.com and you can check out PiLiPiLi's build orders, as well as just check out what's actually going on in the meta right now. You can look at all the pro replays that have been uploaded there and see which are which conform to which build orders, which ones being most commonly used. Something that's very useful at this sort of time at the start of the season, where all kinds of new things are coming around.
Yeah, there's definitely a ton of really cool things that spawning tools can use. As you mentioned, you can see meta, which is honestly the coolest thing ever, because maybe as a lower league player, not even necessarily lower league, but just like platinum, diamond, and it's hard. You can get a grasp on meta, but it's not always there. But you can get a very high level meta, know what's up without watching, and have a lot of information. And also, don't forget to follow Team Gravity on Twitter, which is just below us, on Facebook, which is also just below us. And then I'm not sure if this is YouTube, but I know there's a donation button. So if you guys want to subscribe, $5 a month USD, but that gives you $5 a $5 gift card to GTA or G2A. G2A, thank you. G2A.com, which you can buy games, you can use vouchers for different games, and it's a really cool website. Check that up, hit that up. And so essentially, you donate $5, and if you want to buy a game on there, you might as well donate $5 to us, do that, and it really helps us out. So thank you so much, guys. I think we're going to get into a quick ad break before the next game, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, we're running a couple ads while we get our players online and draw up their vetoes for the maps for best. Well, I guess the picks for the map order for the best 7.
Yep, best of 7.
Yeah. When we come back, we'll be live with Team Gravity's Fight Night. The main event, Keen versus Bong Bong. I'll see you guys very soon.